Okay, so listos, we are going to move on to our next exciting, thrilling session. We've got some amazing speakers for you now. Our next session is going to approach the topic of low and no code, which is a hot new trend in the software development field. It is called citizen developers, the silent revolution. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our amazing moderator. Pipo Serrano is a journalist on radio, TV, and digital who's led strategies and digital transformations in large newsrooms and media outlets and incorporates them into new narratives and digital coverage. And he is the winner of the Best Journalistic Work on Digital Transformation Award. Ladies and gents, please give a warm 4 years from now, Agora stage, welcome to Pipo Serrano. Thank you.
Gora Mahagot. I have to say, Trushin, my good friend from Ireland, and I just told him in Irish, because this is an international place, so I said Gora Mahagot, which means thank you very much in Irish. Thank you very much for your words.
Muchísimas gracias.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And let me ask to join the people who's going to be in this session. First, Elena Vigo, Peter Pons, and Oscar Pallisa, please join us in this stage. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so thanks to all of you for joining us. It's great to be here. It's great to be here again in the Mobile World Congress here in Barcelona. And for the second time, having the 4 years from now, all these entrepreneurs and these brilliant minds, young people and brilliant people, like the people who's with us today, here in this amazing event, which is for the second year joining Mobile World Congress. As we're in the 4 years from now area, it is mandatory to speak about innovation and about talent. And we love to do that. And as you may know, for this session was designed to be talking about a silent revolution, which is based on you, on each of you, and any of you, on me, on any of them, on regular people. And we say it's basically on regular people because this is meant to be addressed to citizen developers. When we refer to citizen developers, we're exploring this new trend that Oshin was mentioning on the software area, which is, well, I hope you are familiar with, and if not, they will clarify it, which is called low code or no code. So let me introduce you to the people who's joining us. We already had several discussions on this. We already know who's each of them, but you don't. So let's try to explain you. First, Elena Vigo is joining us. She's the head of IT software development at SEAT. Thank you very much, Elena, for joining us. Peter Pons, no, let me go first with Oscar Pallisa. He's the Chief Innovation Officer at Zurich in Spain. Hello, and thank you very much, Oscar. And finally, Peter Pons now. He's the partner and NTT Data. Thank you very much for joining us also, Peter. First of all, for these people, can you introduce yourself in a minute, explain us a bit about your position, and give us a flavor on what you think about low code and no code? Elena?
Of course. So I'm the head of IT software development at SEAT IT, the automotive company belonging to the Volkswagen Group. In my department, we are also responsible for enterprise architecture, so making the decisions of the future technology for the company. And we believe that the low-code, no-code, it's a great opportunity to democratize the technology among the business, among the company, and benefit from the hidden skills that the company has.
Great. Hidden skills. Okay, we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about how can we democratize that, and if that goes only to specific guys or to the whole company. But we'll see that afterwards. Oscar. Oscar is for us a bit the controversial guy, but you'll see he's not that much. Can you introduce yourself?
Very good morning. My name is Oscar Pallisa. I'm Chief Information Officer for Zurich Insurance in Spain. Zurich is an insurance company present in more than 100 countries. Specifically in Spain, we've been here for more than 100 years, and we have roughly around 1 million customers. In low code and no code for us, at least in the experience that we have in Spain, we are focusing that on personal and team productivity. We understand that it is an accelerator to an area of opportunity that historically traditional IT departments have not been providing any coverage. So we understand it provides an excellent technology-driven solution for specifically that, increasing the productivity from our colleagues outside the IT department.
Great. And let's finish this first introduction with Peter.
Yeah, thank you, people. Basically, as you were saying, no, I'm leading automotive and manufacturing practices, no.
I think you need to get your mic a bit closer.
Okay, thank you. Maybe this works better. Okay.
Much better.
So basically, I'm leading the manufacturing and automotive practice inside Entity Data, and just to share a little bit about my life. I mean, my background is industrial engineering. So when I was studying this career, the most that we arrived to do with coding was pseudocode. So we don't even practice coding. So I'm very happy to share the stage here because I really think that these new trends, no, allow to expand the talent base, no, because we always talk about competitive advantage, no, right now about companies is blending business with IT, no, and technology. But to have a technology, we need the talent for it. So any initiative, no, that can embrace and expand the talent base for it, I think it's a great new.
Okay, so this means that in a way, because we need that talent and there's not that amount of people, maybe Elena can explain us why low code is popping up so fast. Well, also no code, but low code is popping up so fast. Is it because of a need that there's not a way to kind of satisfy?
Yes, well, there is a lot of need, a lot of digitalization requests out there in every single company. And of course, this means that the capabilities that we need to process those needs are limited. And this is a huge problem that all companies in the market are facing. So low code is a good entry, a simple entry to start delivering and developing apps for the business. So it's a very good opportunity.
Did it happen the same, I don't know, in SEAT, for example, but or in any of your companies, did it happen the same as in any other sector that the pandemic just accelerated this trend a lot or not?
Well, we already started before the pandemic,
okay.
And for sure the pandemic has boosted a lot of digitalization tools and connectivity and all those things. But I believe that this is more laying the generations, the new generations that have the motivation of building things by themselves and are very, very close to technology.
Okay, so but that means that, I don't know, in your case, Oscar, in your companies, do you have internal kind of positions as citizen developers? Does that exist?
The way we are approaching local no code in Zurich is twofold. Two different things with two different purposes and two different business opportunities. The first one, very clear, is what I said is in the area of personal productivity, team productivity, and slightly beyond. There, the ambition is basically IT takes a secondary role, so just supporting, training, support, business change, but the idea is that the citizens, developers, are part of business. Examples, we have many, from less complex to more complex. No, I mean, for example, the Zurich application, the Zurich Marathon application, or for example, the customer, the employee enrollment applications. Those have been applications that have been designed and developed by business people. So we are not catching someone from the market saying, hey, you're going to be a citizen developer from now on. So for this area, our aspiration, and I think we already have proof points that prove that this is very successful, is on this area. Then we have a second area, and potentially more, how to say this, with more room for discussion, people, which is our traditional, more critical applications development. No, we are not discussing personal productivity, it's just business or department-wide applications. No, there the area is more gray, and there, but the opportunity is also different. We are not looking for autonomy in there. What we are looking is for more agility, higher time to market for regular, let's say, business applications. So these are the two different. In there, in that second area, yes, potentially we can embrace citizen developers. No, this is a new technology. We can get out from traditional coding, JavaScript or others, and this is enriching also the base of potential solutions to provide this, a business response.
Yeah, but I wonder, Pera, maybe, if this new trend is giving a real opportunity to talent, or it's, how can I say it, or this is going to destroy normal people because we'll have to do our work plus coding or low coding other things. How is that going to be? I mean, is it a positive thing?
No, definitely not. Basically, as we were talking before, no, it's just another thing, no, that it has come here just to help organizations, no. So and also to rebalance the talent. So basically, in my opinion, you can focus your senior engineers or your senior developers, no, in providing guidance, support to these new citizen developers or business users that want to participate from that. And last years we have seen already that almost all projects, no, are performing in Agile with multidisciplinary teams. So this just is coming to allow that a high percentage of the team that till now was not able, no, let's say, to code, they will have the ability also to be, let's say, productive in that ecosystem of a team that has to deliver a product.
But in a way, this is turning regular talented workers into it gives them a Swiss Army knife so that they can deliver or boost whatever sector they're in. Oscar was saying, and Elena can explain us also, this is not anymore something for your IT guys, this is for your business guys. So this is big, let's say, taking your talent into another level, giving them a way to improve and create better opportunities for the business or whatever. Is it that way?
Yes, exactly. So we have identified there are plenty of people in the business that have these technical skills. Maybe they are basic skills, but with these low-code platforms or even no-code, they can use those tools in order to create things. And this gives them a lot of motivation because at the end they have this intrinsic motivation of technology, of approaching technology from a different perspective. And they are not IT people.
Yeah, I was reading the other day a great paper, a research paper that I recommend you to read, published recently by Barcelona Digital Talent. They were saying that from in between 2018 and 2023, 500 million apps will be needed, so up to next year. So that means that there's a lot of companies that need to work on that. My question is if we can really reach that, and I want Oscar specifically to answer that, which type of apps? Because here's the second thing. One thing is this goes to the business, this goes to other areas of business, but is it for a marathon, or we can go to some in the core critical business
I don't know. I mean, at least in Zurich, that's what we are doing. And within the EMEA Zurich, we have different countries with different experiences. Now, UK obviously is more advanced. Portugal has also some experiences. As far as Spain is concerned, that's what we are exploring now. In a sense that can we build a business critical application that requires specifically, I mean, highly governance, with highly sensitive data and so forth. That's the area that, for me, yet remains unresponsive, or where the aspirations and opportunities that we see differ from those that are marketing or supplied by the solution vendors. No? But I'm convinced it's an area of work and we'll continue doing it. As I said, in the first area, productivity and team, clearly the amount of applications will be high. In Spain, I already said we have multiplied by a factor of 4 in let's say, low-code, no-code apps, the ones that we usually do with traditional development. So figures reflect that the amount of applications will grow exponentially, or linearly at least. The sensitivity and creativity, that will depend on different scenarios.
So how many apps did you and your team, your colleagues in Zurich, has created through a low-code, no-code?
We started this quite recently, around 12 months ago. I think we already have around 20 live and around 10, 15 on pipeline. And as I said, from different let's say, complexities. No?
Elena, how many?
Yeah, it's more or less the same range,
20?
I would say.
Pera? I know you are
in our case, let's say we have some low-code applications for our internal use, but our teams, basically is supporting the adoption of these technologies in all the organizations.
But they have helped too many people to create lots of apps?
Yeah, basically I would say that in the last 2 years, even with the pandemic in the middle, we've even more than doubled, for example, the team that we have in low-code in Spain. So we've done skillings, reskillings, and...
So this is not a hype?
At least not what we are looking right now at the market. You only have to look to other markets like US or even in Europe, in UK and Germany. So usually all the waves, let's say the penetration starts with some countries that are more early adopter, or even that they have more gap between the talent needed, the offer and the demand. So we're looking, for example, that only in Europe there's a gap of more than 350,000 ITC profiles. So as more as this gap grows, there's more need to reskill and to bring more non-digital profiles to digital landscape.
let me ask you to the purist. You know, when you're a purist, there's been, we were discussing that before when having a coffee. Me as a journalist, 10 years ago when the citizen journalism trend was born, there were many purists saying, hey, come on, don't use the word journalism. No, I mean, don't use it. They're not journalists. So let me ask that to the purist, Oscar. Is it a hype?
That is a tag that you're giving me. Definitely,
Just-
it is
just
not.
asking.
No, it is definitely not a hype in the sense that there is a clear opportunity. It's lowering the barrier for people who have an aspiration to develop applications. Indeed, that I mean, the figures are there. I mean, no one can deny. The point there is, well, when we get into a more complex applications that require higher skills, obviously the barriers are lower. That's great. But when we start into more sophisticated applications, can we hit that with low code, or the knowledge needs to be more or less the same than traditional? That's the point
Do you do
which
it?
I cannot.
I don't know, in your cases in Zurich or in SEAT, are you allowing your teams to play with these low code codes to create apps for critical things, for critical aspects? Do you?
You go, if you look, I go after that.
Well, I believe Oscar already said that there are different areas where you can implement those things. For the very, very critical things, we have not done that yet. So I'm open to discuss that, but we haven't done that yet. We have done that in the personal productivity, in the team productivity, and also in the digitalization of business processes. But really very, very critical things, not really sure
And
yet.
Oscar?
We're exploring there. Again, I think these tools provide potential high time to market, potentially more agility, but it also comes with a price. So as a responsible for IT, I also need to consider that. I mean, is it that providing any sort of risk in long-term sustainability in terms of cost? And that's what we are exploring. So again, I cannot give you yet an example, but we're
sometimes we tend to think that if we have to leave the teams to work a bit with these low-code apps, is this going to be a safe thing or not? Is it risky or not? Pera, let us know. I mean, is it risky? Is it safe? Can we create an app which is robust, which is secure, which is not giving it some kind of risk to the company?
Well, from my point of view, absolutely. I mean, the important thing is how you build up all the governance, the change management, how you train the teams. So it's not different than other technologies. I mean, that also depend in human mistakes. No? So, but if you set up all the things that is needed to build this internal ecosystem, then I think that it can work perfectly. So we've done mission critical applications and non-mission ones. But we also have to consider that this change management, no, when you introduce new things, is easier, no, to try some little stuff, then maybe for digital prototyping, then use it for more widespread applications, and then you have to have trust in these new technologies, then you can try it into mission critical. No, it's a path. No?
Okay.
I think it's a fair comment that I want to just relate it to this. I mean, insurance companies, bank and other industries, we are highly regulated, no? And obviously, with the opportunities of low code and no code, it didn't make sense that we provided a tight governance that basically make lose that productivity, no? And agility. In our case, what we have done, and maybe it's worth for the audience, is just having a very lean, very soft governance in the sense that if I'm a citizen developer from marketing, I have to go just through a set of questions that will qualify or not qualify. Example, I mean, is it data sensitive? Is it the user and so forth? If that goes green, basically the employee can go and develop and even deploy. And I think this is also relevant. Whenever the application, as an example, can have customer sensitive data, then potentially we'll have to go through at least some assessments so that those are independent. But I think it's worth commenting because governance is one point that also is relevant. Not only developing the application, I always give the same example. I mean, building applications is like giving birth to a kid or a child. I mean, it is a good milestone, but part of the work come afterward. No, and sometimes it's more difficult. But I think that's the point which is relevant.
I think it's interesting what you said and well, what you both were saying. But I suppose that it's great to work like in a more kind of a transversal way, so helping these teams to grow and to set up the limits. So I suppose the IT guys have to be very connected with business, probably much more than before.
Exactly, that's what we're doing. I mean, high power comes with also responsibility, no? So that's what we're doing, just coaching, training, just setting champions in every department so that they have someone and a reference, instead of going to us, just a reference person within their department that can push those. So that is most of the work that we have done. There are some occasions, some applications in which we're more complex and we had to give a hand and develop it. But the idea is that after it goes live, you have the application, you take it, you manage it, you take care of it.
Okay, Elena, which are the main benefits of low code that you've realized from working with the team and learning and sharing with them and setting up those limits?
Well, first of all, motivation. So we always had motivated people in the business, but now we have a way to involve them, to give them a good platform, a good tool, a good environment where they can really build and create things, and also in a controlled way. So before that, it was a little bit the shadow IT, where the business were creating things by themselves without the support of real technical expertise. And now we have a hybrid model where we take the good things of both worlds, no? So the process knowledge firsthand, and also the technical expertise, and so both can be merged.
I imagine that, and you all probably lived that, and Pera probably more. Since now, we've been living in sectors, in sections in the company, in where someone came from IT saying, hey guy, this is a tool for you. And maybe you say, okay, I mean, this part suits me, these are the part I don't really care about it, and these are the part I don't understand it. Now, they are the ones who say, these are my priorities, and this is how I'm going to set it up. So it's really different the way everything starts, no?
In fact, in that sense, where there's an evidence, for example, no, that when you talk with R&D departments or people that is already engineer, that in lots of companies there are, lately, I mean, a decade ago, they had not the possibility, no, to do their own stuff, no? So more, let's say, is technical profiles, but maybe they don't know how to code. What they're demanding is more self-service, because for them the training curve is very little, so they want more autonomy. No? Then, as Oscar was mentioning, no, there's another ecosystem that, okay, they can do stuff, no, but with not even engineering background or tech skills or whatever, and they can do more with some limits, no, some applications for the departments and so on. And then for me, there's the third segment, when you really build blended teams between the business and IT, and you can, let's say, put the accent or the focus on getting most of all the team. I mean, because you can combine highly developers, highly skilled developers, for APIs or backend integration, with some other parts of a product or software product that can be built for these citizen developers.
Let me ask you about something. Some days ago, we just kept a video call and we were discussing about this much longer than what we'll have today here. But the fact that the team is who creates that app, does it make, and at the same time you talk about those software for critical things, does it make a shorter lifetime app or not necessarily? I mean, because I remember Oscar and Elena, I think, they both said they had some apps in the company that are there since 20 years ago. And I don't know if you can imagine that there could be some low-code or no-code app lasting for that long. Is it possible?
I believe so, yes.
In our case, the same. That's in conditioning the lifespan. I mean, one of the examples is the customer service application that we had in the Knoll system. We've done it in low code, and we expect to be there as long as it's providing value and to the regulator and also to our business.
And the maintenance spirit, the way we keep that apps working or we improve them, there are several updates and all that. Is that safe and works for last also? I mean, it's going to last long too?
Yeah, because in my opinion, this has nothing to do with the technology that is at the back. It's more about the purpose when you decide to create a product. So, but obviously, sometimes there's this mindset, just because since the time to market when you use this technology is so fast, that when you want to do things really fast, that sometimes is associated that they are not going to last so much, no? And people then has this kind of believer. But we've
I mean, I sometimes to your question, and many times, many use cases also of low-code, no-code is also to generate proof of concept application, just test and drive, and that's potentially sometimes it's confusing. No, I'm creating low code just to ensure that the idea works, and then we'll manage how we develop from there on. No, I mean that is also one area of use that we have done. I mean, just do it, you test it, you play with it. Is it works, and then you can think about different technology or continue with the same technology.
But this is, let's say, there's not an open source of low code. There's some software that you have to be attached with. So when you move from one to another one, it must be a pain, or how does that work?
It is indeed a vendor lock-in. No? I mean, I think there are 4 or 5 main suppliers. Indeed, there's not open source, and then you have a vendor lock-in. Is it that bad? You do have vendor lock-ins in other areas, like, I mean, cloud hyperscalers, no, Google, blah, blah, blah. But in this, yes, we have to. And if you have someone who has talent and nodes and a citizen developer in A, I mean, it cannot be in B. You will need at least a transition in order just to make the same level of efficiency in one or the other. So yes, that's something to be considered as well, yeah.
So there are some tools that, on theory, they promise to be able to export the apps in a way that is independent of the platform. I still have to check that.
So Elena wants to be sure that she's going to be free if sometimes she wants to fly from one to another vendor.
I just want to have the opportunity.
Absolutely normal, yeah. Let me ask you one last thing. We've got 1 minute left. We talked a lot, and we've been talking a lot on these times about low code, but we talk very little about no code, zero code. Is it working for you like the same as low code? Do you have as many no code apps as low code apps? Not that much, right?
Not so much. We are more focused on the low code because it's more powerful and brings more opportunities.
When does it work, no code? I mean, what is it
The
for?
examples that we have are in specifically personal productivity. And people, for example, in the front sides, in the contact center and others where they have loads of administrative tasks, that, I mean, to some of those use cases, they can provide some RPAs, robotics, but some others are doing no code. So mixing data from one another in Excel, but very limited to, I mean, it has a lot of power, but also it has some limitations as well. But personal productivity, I would dare to mention.
Better no code?
Yeah, in our case, I would say that, let's say, where we see more growth is in low code. It's just because it allows more flexibility, more interaction between technical and non-technical teams. As Elena was saying, it's more powerful. No code, it already exists, but it's more usually in concrete use domains. So, and low code allows you to tackle more different needs in a wider view.
Okay, guys, so I'm sorry that there are no questions in this session, but, and I saw some hand there, sorry for that, but I'm sure you can grab some opinion from them and you can ask them anything. They'll be around all the time. Oscar's been here since early in the morning. I'm sure he's going to be a bit more.
I will be there in 5 minutes.
They will be there, so you can ask them. I think this local thing has for many more. We talked a bit about lifetime. We talked a bit about critical situations, where to use it, how to involve teams, make it more let's say incentivize teams and more involved on everything. I want to really say thank you to these professionals. I'm sure they will be around. Peter Pons, thank you very much, partner at NTT Data. Thank you very much for joining us today. Oscar Paisas, CIO of Zurich in Spain. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Elena Vigo, Head of IT Software Development at SER. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.